reminder of his youth and of his excellence and of his place in the pantheon, standing above all others in Mets history, number 41, and a fitting tribute by the Mets players of today, dirt on their right knee. That was Tom Seaver's signature, the drop and drive that resulted in the knee hitting the ground, and the Mets paying tribute in that fashion to the greatest player who's ever worn the Mets orange and blue. I'm Gary Cohen. Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling are alongside. This has been an amazing day since we found out last evening that Tom Seaver had passed away. He was beyond an iconic figure as far as the Mets are concerned, one of the greatest pitchers ever to take a mound. And I know you guys have some personal experience being with Tom Seaver, competing with Tom Seaver, and getting to know him.
Well, Gare, I think from a personal level, what struck me when Tom couldn't come to the 50th anniversary, did not come when they unveiled 41 Seaver Way. We knew that he had dementia and those kind of issues, and I knew that he kind of was heading down the wrong path. My mom had been there, so it's a tough day.
You know, he was like a big brother to me. You know, when I first was called up to the major leagues, you know, the biggest star that ever played for the Mets would ask me to do crossword puzzles, would ask me to play bridge when someone dropped out, asked me to dinner on the road and to his home. And you don't know what that meant to someone like me who was the oldest kid, never had a big brother. It was just a fantastic feeling. And I think we lose him because he's so serious and the pitching's so great. He had an unbelievable boyish charm and an unbelievable prankster also. But, you know, my first thought yesterday when I heard the news, Gary, was incredible sadness, tears, all of those things. And then after that, a lightness, you know, a smile. Because, boy, but talk about a life well led. Doesn't get any better.
He was a beacon, and I think that's the most notable thing. You know, I was 9 years old when Tom Seaver joined the Mets in 1967, and he took a franchise that was only known for losing and almost overnight changed the equation just through the force of his will and his talent and his preparation and his intelligence. And he took a team under his wing with Gil Hodges. That relationship was so important to him and to Gil, and it led to what became a miracle in 1969. But I also got to know Tom Seaver as a fellow broadcaster, which was almost incredible to me, a young Met fan growing up, that all of a sudden Tom Seaver and I were in the same profession. He was on the television, I was on the radio, and I got to know some of that caustic wit that you're talking about.
And, you know, I'm never good at this sort of thing. I get emotional, but Tom and I are together historically. I'm his 3,000th strikeout. I was a part of his no-hitter when he was both as a Cincinnati Red. He should have been as a New York Met. And I got to play with him, which was a thrill for me. To be that first game he took, I played first base for my first game with Tom Seaver on the mound. That was a big thrill for me.
And Gary, if you think about it, after the 1983 season, he was left unprotected. The Chicago White Sox took him. I always felt like he was my guardian angel, because if they didn't, either me or Dwight Gooden, who was 19 years old, would not have made that 1984 team. What was your first thought, Gary, when you heard the news?
Well, my first thought was that, as Keith said, we had known for the last few years that things were not going well for Tom, and so it didn't come as a complete shock. But all I could think about was my childhood and the childhood of so many other Met fans for whom Tom Seaver represented the best of those years, somebody that we could look to as a hero. There aren't many heroes left in the world. Tom Seaver was a hero.